You know, when I started making these videos, I didn't think about the fact that I would have to figure out a way to start them every week. And this is what we're doing this week. Okay. Welcome back to the table, everybody. We are doing a weeknight meal this week. This is literally what I had planned to make. This is the first time I'm ever making this. So I thought it would be fun for us to sort of like go on that journey together of what it's like when I try out a new recipe. My favorite way to try out new recipes is weeknight dinners. Tonight, I just have some extra time. I'm home at a normal hour of the evening. So we have a little bit more time, a little bit more freedom to do something, and we are going to make one of my favorite Mexican dishes. We are going to make Chiles Rellenos. I think that's how you say it. It's spelled like rellenos. It's stuffed fried poblano peppers. Okay? Every time I go out to like a sit down Mexican restaurant, it's usually what I get if it's not veggie fajitas. It's so good. I've never made it, and I've always wanted to learn how to make it. And then I saw in this cookbook that there is a version of it in a sandwich. And I don't know why that just really spoke to me. So we're putting them in a sandwich too. So we're doing fried stuffed poblano sandwiches. Tortas de Chiles Rellenos. That's what we're doing. Let's get into it. One of the first things we got to do. So these are our poblano peppers. I'm doing 3 just because there's only 2 of us. It's like 1.5 sandwiches per person. So we have an interesting little predicament in this house right now. We have an electric stove. It's also currently 40 degrees outside. So I'm not going to the grill, nor do I actually really know how to use the grills. We're going to do a sidebar and talk about the fact that over the summer, someone literally in our apartment building set the grill on fire, and the fire department came, and everyone left. The grills are on the roof of our apartment building, and everyone left the roof. And me and Erin then got the roof to ourselves because we were the only ones who wanted to go back up there after the fire. It was nice, but I digress. So we were looking online about how to toast these, because what we need to do is like char them and get the outside skin off of without having open flames in the apartment. And people online said turn on the broiler, put the rack up high, and just turn them with the oven door open. So that's what we're going to do. I already have the oven broil on high, so I'm just getting it nice and hot in there. I'm just going to get us all down there, and we're going to do it in the oven, probably just with the door open, because I'm worried if I close it, they'll go too far. So let's check it out, see how it goes. So I've got them all lined up here on a baking sheet. I don't want to do it on the rack just in case they like sweat. That will like make the oven a mess. And I want to keep the top facing the front of the oven so that way we have something to grab onto with the tongs and keep flipping them. So that's what we're going to do. So I am also just realizing now that the top of my broiler is also just electric. Why would it be any different? But this is how we're going to do it. So I'm just watching them. They're getting pretty mild. I think we could close it, but then I would just kind of be opening it and closing it a lot. And we also don't want them too high. They're all very different sizes. we're going to close it. We're going to keep some of the heat in, just check on them every once in a while, and then I'll show you sort of as they progress. All right, let's check on these bad boys. Oh yeah, you hear them popping? Look at this. She's gorged. That's what we're looking for, okay? I'm just going to rotate them. They're all looking good now. Alrighty. Put them back in. We'll just keep doing that until all the sides look the same. So some of our peppers are done. We're going to pull them out of the oven and put them in this bowl. We're going to wait until they're all done, but some of them need to come out now. And then we're going to do this process that's like sweating the peppers, and we'll go from there so you can see how we're actually going to get the skin off. You see that? That's what we're looking for on these peppers. Nice and charred on all the sides where you can sort of see the skin starting to separate in the bowl. The last big one I think just needs a little bit more time. We'll let her sit, and then we're going to get these covered. We'll let with saran wrap. We'll let them sit, and that sort of keeps the heat in, lets the moisture kind of get inside of the pepper, and then the skin will just slide right off. That's the vision. Does that always happen? No. I've done this with poblano peppers before. Is that always the way it works? No. That's the goal. All right, last one. It's going in. Gonna grab some saran wrap that's green because I think it's trying to convince me that it's fine for the environment. Cool. Now we're just gonna let this sit. You'll start to see like steam form on the cling wrap like that. That's what we want. Let it steam itself in there for like, I'm going to give it like a solid 10 minutes. We're going to prep some other stuff while this happens. We are following a recipe. And the recipe we are following is bigger than what we are making. So we are actually going to half it. But now we're going to make the tomato sauce. Now, I did, unfortunately, make the mistake of getting fresh tomatoes. This wasn't necessarily a mistake. This was just more of like a convenience of what else I needed for the week. And I had some other uses for some fresh tomatoes because tomatoes aren't in season right now. It's late December at this point, and these just aren't the best. So I would have rather used some canned ones, some nice San Marzanos, some nice Sentio, but instead we're using these tomatoes. It'll work fine. We're making like a tomato sauce. So we're putting in tomatoes. I already had half of an onion, so we're just gonna lightly chop this into the blender, and then it said 1 clove of garlic. Instead of getting out and peeling a clove of garlic, I'm just gonna get some mince, throw in here because I like the juice in that too. Then we're gonna add a half cup of water and blend. So the recipe calls for a Dutch oven, or it says, or a heavy bottom stock pot. Since we're not making the whole shebang, I think this will be the right size that we need. So we're going to put this on some high heat, and we're going to put about 2 tablespoons of, or a tablespoon of olive oil, about a half. I've given you 3 measurements and none of them are right. We're just putting a good 1, 2 in there. How about that? Then it says once it's heated up, we're going to actually strain the sauce into here. And I don't think this is necessary, but because it's my first time making it, I want to do everything that it says. And then afterwards we're going to add salt. So I'm going to keep her on standby. Can we just talk about how pink this is? It is like such a luscious shade of pink. It is slightly off-putting and yet also wonderful. While we wait, I need to tell you that I'm looking at the Alexa. I set her to, wow, this is really having a moment. Excuse her. I set her to a winter theme. She's not giving winter. That's all I gotta say about it. If she's gonna give winter, I need more. I need more winter from her. That's all. Alrighty, our oil's nice and hot. I'm gonna go ahead and pour this in. I really thought this would go through a lot faster, so I'm really glad we are straining her. This is getting out any excess seeds, skin. I do think that's nice. Here's our pink soup moment. Okay. Now, we've got this in here. We're going to add some salt, and then we're going to bring this to a boil. Once it's boiled, we're going to get it down to a simmer, and then we're just going to kind of let her cook down while we check on our peppers. So, we're going to let that boil. We're keeping our eyes on it, okay? Let's check on our peppers. Martha was keeping them company. Ooh, they are steamy. Oh yeah, we're gonna get them out. Look how flat she is. Okay, skinny. Okay, skinny. Wow. Okay. Now, I'm gonna do this one first. You can see how it'll just kind of separate. It's really wild. But one of the things that this recipe said is to try to keep the peppers as intact as possible. So don't go crazy. Don't go savage on these, okay? Keep them intact. Just get the skin off so that way we can stuff the peppers easier. That was a good one. Is this like ASMR? Can you hear it? Probably not. It's very quiet. We're just going to do this with all the peppers now. Do you see it ripping? Oh my god, you didn't see that. But we're just going to do this with all the peppers, get all the skin off. That is boiling. You can see that, can't you? Can you see that? I don't know. I'm going to put this down. I'm going to give her a little good zhuzh and cover. If you have parts that are stuck, I like to just like lightly take my knife and use that to peel the rest of it off. I find that that helps with those little stubborn bits. two of them split. Regardless of my best efforts. I did nothing. They were just fragile, okay? I don't make mistakes. Other things do. You get what I'm saying? So now, we're going to cut the tops off. And we're going to get the seeds out of these too. And you want to get the seeds out, because if you leave them behind, they add this like nasty bitter flavor, and we don't want that. So I really go looking for them. That one split, but not the whole way through. So maybe we can save her. I don't know. Maybe she's a lost cause. 3 peppers. I'm going to put them on a plate so that way they're like out of the way. Get this cleaned up. Now we're going to go into making our mixture for the center. Okay, in this bowl, you can't really see, but I have 2 eggs. I'm going to get our electric mixer and mix these together. This is actually what we bred them in, which I didn't know until just right about now. So we're going to do this first, because I'm not doing that by hand because that seems crazy. Because you need like stiff peaks. And even though I don't have a whisk attachment for this thing, this will be better. I'll just get it to a good point and then finish it by hand, because these, you should not do this. These are not whisk attachments. We're going to make it work, and then we will go from there, okay? The egg batter is done. Now we are going to stuff the peppers and then dip them in the batter and fry them. So the first thing we're going to do is get some oil in a pan. I'm going to use vegetable oil. That's just like a neutral oil that I like to use to fry things. But you can use whatever you want. Just make sure it has a high smoke point. Okay, to stuff the peppers, we are using refried beans. I prepped these a few days ago in my last video. I'll link it in the description. And we are now just going to stuff these as carefully as we can. We're going to put some cheese and some beans in them while the oil heats up. And then we are going to close them with toothpicks. That way they just don't explode while we're frying them. We also don't want to put too much in and like overstuff them, because this is just kind of like a bonus. We're going to top the sandwiches with some more cheese and things. You can use different cheese. The recipe recommended either cojita or mozzarella, so I just did mozzarella because I already had that. That's just what was easy for me. Then, so I have like a seam split. Now, I know I was supposed to keep the tops on these. To me, that's not functional. Because why the heck would I keep the top on if I'm going to then eat it whole? Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. So we're just going to close up our little seams, and we're gonna stab her closed with some toothpicks. And then we'll just have it a little bit open, but good enough to get it battered and fried. I feel like I have to be so gentle with this. The peppers are like actually insanely fragile. It's very odd. This one I'm thrilled about. It's small, but it is mighty. Also, you could do this without the toothpicks. If you put the toothpicks in, you just have to remember to take them out before you eat them. Otherwise, it's not going to go so well. That's on you, though. For the little parts of my pepper down low that just kind of slightly ripped, I broke the toothpicks in half so that way I don't have so much like extra sticking out on the sides. But for the top, I'm just leaving them big, that way I can find them to get them out. Okay. Now, let's get these fried. Now, one thing about me is I don't have a oil thermometer, so I'm just going to use this meat thermometer to check our temp. The recipe says 375. So I think we're a little high right now. I'm gonna let her chill a little bit. We could probably go, honestly. So we have our egg. We have our fluffy egg batter. I am just going to take one of these with the assistance of the toothpicks. I'm just going to get it nice and coated on all the sides. And then I'm going to gently dip her in. Oh, and she floats. That's fun. Alrighty. How long does it say? Let it fry for about 2 minutes per side. Amazing. We're just going to do one first since I've never done this before. We're experimenting, everyone. I'm going to check my oil again. Yeah. It's kind of high, but it'll come down as we do this. We're getting there. Honestly, thrilled about this. Thrilled. Can you see her? Just our little pepper buddy swimming in there. I also have a little cooling rack to the side to place these with on a baking sheet. All right, how are we going to flip her? All right, ready? 1, 2. Oh my God. Everyone, that looks normal. Thrilled is an understatement. Honestly. Honestly. She's gorge. She looks so good. Oil and me have like the worst relationship because I know it'll be too high, so I turn it down, and then it's not hot enough, and then it's too hot. And I'm always like, oh my God, where the hell is the sweet spot on this? It's not my favorite, but we digress. Alrighty? I'm thinking this looks pretty incredible right now, okay? Alrighty. She's definitely done. I'm going to grab our cooling rack. We're going to make sure to get all that excess oil out of her. Alrighty. First one. Like a little fried chicken wing. Amazing. Let's do it again. It is like so interesting to me how it puffs up. Like, it puffs up so much and gets fluffy. And it has this like very soft texture. I didn't know that was how this worked. That's why we're learning. We're learning together. This is fun. Okay, our last one is just finishing up in the fryer. We are going to get ready for sandwich assembly, y'all. We are in the home stretch. Okay, while those finish, for sandwich assembly, I wanted some smaller rolls. So these are brioche rolls from Whole Foods. I am just going to cut 3 of these in half and toast them in the air fryer so they get nice and crispy. Now you may be wondering, Clarissa, why are you putting that in the air fryer and not the toaster or the toaster oven? It's because I don't have one. I like the air fryer. It works for me. Let's assemble. We're going to put our nice toasted poblano. I'm going to remove the last toothpick from this. Now, don't forget we have our wonderful red tomato sauce we made. So we're going to top it. A little bit more shredded cheese. And that, my friends, is our sandwich. We're going to do first bites, but we are very worried that these are piping hot in the middle. Cheers. Did you see that cheese pool? I got a cheese pool. Did you?
No, it's just good though.
Yeah. I would say my pepper is a little bit oil soggy. I don't know how you combat that. But otherwise, do you see the drip? This is like, it's like the Mexican version of a chicken parm sandwich.
Or an eggplant parm sandwich.
Yeah.
It's good though.
All right. We're going to go eat. Thank y'all so much for coming to the table. And we will see you in the next one. Bye. Bye.